Hey guys, this story is called Fall Where They May. Fall Where They May. If Neil Vanderbilt was spoiled, he could afford to be. The son of a Staten Island farmer, Neil had clawed his way to the top. Built from scratch one of the most remarkable transportation empires the world has ever seen. So if Neil Vanderbilt was spoiled, he could afford to be finicky, and to have his way. Cornelius Vanderbilt, born not 20 years after the Declaration of Independence. A stubborn child, Neil refused to attend school past the age of 11. At 16, he purchased a small sailboat with money borrowed from his parents. But the vessel was not for pleasure, not entirely. Young Neil used it to carry passengers between Staten Island and New York City. A lifetime of enterprise was just beginning. During the War of 1812, Neil was authorized to transport provisions and soon had a small fleet engaged in river and coastal trade. In 1818, he sold out, went to work for shipping magnate Thomas Gibbons. By 1829, Vanderbilt had formed his own steamboat company, managing to dominate the business with lower fares and greater luxury. In a short while, his lines extended to Boston and to Providence, and by 1846, the Commodore Cornelius Vanderbilt was a millionaire. During the 1850s, he frequented a little place in Saratoga Springs, New York, called Moon Lake Lodge. Saratoga Springs was a resort town catering to the pre-Kitty Hawk jet set, you might say, and Moon Lake Lodge was their smartest restaurant, the talk of the town. You'd expect the chef at Moon Lake to have been imported from Paris, but George Crumb was a full-fledged, honest-to-goodness Indian chief. And though Chief Chef Crumb was schooled in international cuisine, he couldn't be expected to know all the new recipes being created. Probably that's how the latest culinary rage from France had escaped him. This delicacy, a favorite of the elite, was called French fries. French fried potatoes in those days were very French, relatively new, exotic, and exclusive. You didn't know that. You went to McDonald's and got you some French fries. You didn't know how fancy they were, did you? Anyway, so that is how Moon Lake's most distinguished customer comes in, transportation tycoon Cornelius Vanderbilt. He too was quite familiar with international cuisine and decided one evening to order a plate of French fries. When they were brought to him, Cornelius complained that French fried potatoes were sliced much thinner in Paris. He just returned from Paris, and he knew. These, he told the waiter, are much too thick. Dutifully, the waiter returned the potatoes to the kitchen. Busy chef George Crumb thought little of it. Working at Moon Lake Lodge, he was not unaccustomed to the sometimes petulance of the well-to-do. George proceeded to slice and prepare another batch of French fries, thinner this time. But shortly after the plate left the kitchen, it was back again. "They're still too thick," the waiter told the chef. That did it. Now, this was 1853. Two subordinates were attempting to wrest control of the company from Vanderbilt. It had not been an easy year. Or perhaps there was just some other irritation that evening. Whatever the case, Chef George Crumb had had enough. With an "I'll fix him" look in his eyes, George sharpened his knife to a razor edge, seized a potato, and began slicing it paper thin. He then dipped the slices into boiling fat, salted them to excess, and personally bolted through the kitchen door with the plate of brown, brittle shavings. The waiters tried to stop him, but it was too late. George had made it to the Vanderbilt table with what appeared a most overdone, oversalted, and unpalatable offering. Neil liked it. At least he said so. Maybe he just felt guilty about having complained so vigorously, but Commodore Cornelius Vanderbilt said he liked it, and that was enough endorsement to win for this dish a permanent place on the prestigious menu of the Saratoga Inn. That American variation of what the French called fries. By 1887, the recipe was in the White House cookbook, and after potato peeling and slicing were automated in the mid-20s, Chief Crumb's innovation was available and wanted worldwide trade. Cornelius Vanderbilt's transportation empire served him well, but the tasty legacy he left us, the byproduct of his moment of petulance in 1853, the overcooked's revenge of an overwrought chef, was the potato chip. So that's where that came from. Ha! How about that? Isn't that cool? All right. Love you guys. Bye-bye.